Today I thought I'd give you guys a look at where all the magic happens. The YouTube magic, that is. Let's take a look at my home office. Thanks for checking out Life of Bliss. My name is Kyle, and before going into all the details and going over my main monitor, the BenQ EW3280U, let's back up for a minute. First, a little background into the idea when I finished our basement. A home office was a necessity for me. I work from home 95% of the time with my normal job, so I needed a space where I could come to get away from any distractions or noise that may be going on. I also do all of my YouTube edits and voiceovers in that room, so it serves a dual purpose. Now, it's not the biggest office in the world, but it really didn't need to be. It's more than served its purpose for an isolated area for me to go and do both my work and my YouTube content, and it's been a great addition to our house. Now let's go back a few weeks to see where my office was before giving it a little makeover and getting it to its current state. So real quick, let's go over how my office is set up currently. Now, I actually work from home as well as do all of my YouTube edits in this office here, so there's quite a bit of screens going on. The two on either side, that one there and that one there, are my work screens. Originally I only had one. They upgraded us to two, and instead of giving us a small computer, small desktop computer, started giving us laptops and a few different router accessories to give us a more secure connection to the network. So that has expanded over time, which has just cluttered my desk up, and I haven't really redone anything yet. The BenQ monitor sitting on the sit-stand desk there, that will be replacing my loud and hot Panasonic plasma TV. It's a good monitor, but that BenQ is going to be looking a lot better. So I'll get everything rearranged here in the office, and then we'll go over the BenQ 3080. Now, I know all of you are wondering, Kyle, where did you get that baller big-ass cherry desk that you have in your office? Well, that was a very smart purchase from a local furniture auction. Now, I am all about saving money where I can and finding a good deal, and I came across this desk for about $150. It's got a ton of storage, a huge desktop space, and it looked fairly good. There's a few things not quite perfect on it. There's a missing knob here and there, but you know, overall, 150 bucks. I challenge you to find a bigger, better desk for $150. My work laptop, dual monitors, and both work and personal keyboard and mouse are able to fit on the Monoprice sit-stand riser. This thing is an absolute necessity if you are stuck at a computer for 10 hours a day or more like I am. Each of the work monitors are mounted with some gas spring monitor mounts that clamp onto the riser. It was important to be able to move these completely out of the way to make room for my BenQ monitor hooked up to my personal computer. The 3280 is connected to the custom PC that I built a few years back. I'm not going to run through all the specs, but it does have an i5 processor, Z170 Pro Gaming motherboard, 16 gigabytes of RAM, and an Asus Strix GTX 1070 graphics card. This PC has done really well with some casual gaming and has been great for video editing. Now, while the BenQ has a better than average speaker setup, I wanted to take my audio a bit further, so I put my Tangband DIY bookshelf speakers on either side with the Dayton Audio DTA Pro amplifier and DAC, which, by the way, has been an awesome little amplifier. Rated at 50 watts times 2 at 4 ohms, this little thing packs a punch and has several features, including a subwoofer out. I also threw some LED lights behind the speakers to give a soft ambient glow in the room and for the thumbnails. I mean, this is 2020. If you're not throwing LED lights in almost every room in your house, what are you doing with your life? Now onto the nicest monitor that I've had the pleasure of owning, the BenQ EW3280U. This is a 32-inch IPS LED backlit monitor that can play back HDR10 content and native 4K resolution on its 16:9 aspect ratio display. In the box, you'll get the monitor, power cord, USB Type-C cable, HDMI 2.0 cable, a monitor stand, remote, and whatever this thing is. I had no idea for the longest time what it was. I had to look in the manual. It is a stand for your remote. So thanks, BenQ. Nice little addition there. Anyways, let's go ahead and start off with the one item I did not use, and that is the stand. Now, I do like the design of the stand. It's got this nice bronze finish on the bottom. It's metal. The one thing I did not like is how little adjustment it had. The only adjustment is +15 to -5 degrees for the tilt. There's no swivel, there's no elevation adjustment, so if you're needing that sort of thing, keep that in mind. You're pretty much going to be stuck with where the monitor sits on the stand if you go with this. Now, it does have a little bit of cable management on the back, which is nice, and the cover that goes over top. So you'll be able to hide your wires and keep your desk looking clean, but again, just make sure you're not needing a ton of adjustment if you go with this monitor. Obviously, I ditched the included mount and mounted the BenQ to a monoprice fireplace wall mount. And I don't know if you noticed, I don't have a fireplace in my office.
No shit, Sherlock!
But what this allows me to do is lower the monitor down to my desk when sitting, and when I feel like standing, I can easily raise the screen and desk to a comfortable position. Is this ideal? Probably not, but I already have the mount and this whole setup works quite nicely together. Inputs include 2 HDMI, a DisplayPort, USB Type-C, and a headphone jack. The outside bezel is extremely thin with a small black area surrounding the image. Towards the bottom of the display is a thick bronze bezel that houses the IR sensor and light sensor. The screen measures in at 20.6 inches high, 28.6 inches wide, and 8 inches deep with the stand. If you decide to not use a stand, the monitor itself is roughly 3 inches deep. Now, as far as the monitor goes, I feel that it does a lot of things well, but isn't going to blow you away in any one category. The 4K image is crisp with several picture settings that you can choose from. BenQ's HDR, which stands for intelligence, does a great job reproducing vivid colors while maintaining deep blacks. There are a few variations of the HDR settings that you can choose, as well as some other color options. I preferred the display HDR mode, but one of the more interesting modes was the low blue light. You can choose from 5 different presets in the eye care menu to reduce eye strain when using your computer over extended periods of time. The e-paper mode essentially turns everything black and white, making it look like a newspaper or magazine. Something like this would be helpful for long hours of looking at documents or Excel spreadsheets. Another setting that comes in handy is the Bright Intelligence Plus. This senses the room brightness and will adjust the screen brightness and contrast accordingly. There is also an eye reminder option that you can set, reminding you every 30 to 60 minutes to give your eyes a rest from looking at a screen. Now, I don't have any sort of tools to measure color accuracy or nit levels, but I'll leave a link down below in the description for a review done over at Tom's Hardware. They look into the more technical side of things with this monitor, but to kind of sum up what I read, this monitor doesn't have the most dramatic HDR effect, and black levels do suffer a little when doing HDR, but what this monitor does extremely well is color accuracy. As someone who does mainly video and photo editing, having accurate colors is extremely important. For those looking to use this monitor for gaming, while the 4K image looks excellent, the refresh rate is on the low side at only 60 Hz. I do a very small amount of gaming, but the time that I have spent playing, I haven't noticed too much input lag, and the refresh rate has been plenty fast for my taste. Again, I'm not a huge gamer, so keep that in mind. It does support AMD FreeSync and unofficially works with NVIDIA G-Sync as well. For those hardcore gamers looking to get the best experience possible, you'll probably want to look into a screen with a little faster refresh rate, but for a casual gamer like myself, I found the monitor just fine for gaming. Now, with my theater room right out here in the basement, I really don't use my computer to watch a lot of movies or TV shows, but I do watch quite a bit of YouTube and listen to a lot of music. I did watch a few shows to get a good idea of how the BenQ performs, and it didn't disappoint. HDR content looked excellent, the UHD resolution was crisp, and the soundtracks had a bit more depth to them than a normal monitor. Now, that's one of the big selling points of the 3280. Most companies will put sound quality towards the bottom of the list when designing a monitor. This unit from BenQ is sporting two 2-watt speakers and a 5-watt subwoofer all built into the screen. This setup gives a noticeable boost in bass response and makes way for clear vocals in music and movies. There are 5 different DSP settings to tune the setup how you'd like, as well as a volume roller on the lower left-hand side. Now, is this going to match a good set of desktop speakers? No, but it's not supposed to. This is for people who aren't looking to add external speakers to their system and would like a little better sound quality from their monitor. And I gotta say, this does a great job at getting a little bit better sound than most of the monitors out there that I've heard. Now, one of the things I noticed with this monitor is when I started cranking the volume, there was a little bit of buzzing coming from the rear speaker grill with the low to mid-range frequencies. It wasn't the speaker bottoming out, there was just some vibration going on in the back, and I'm sure BenQ would take this in under warranty since the audio is one of the main selling points of this monitor, but that was something that I did experience. All of these functions and menus can be navigated with the joystick buttons on the back of the display or with the remote provided. The remote is pretty simple with a few hotkey buttons, power on and off, and volume adjustments. It's nothing special, but I think it's a great feature to have. I think more companies should be coming out with some simple remotes to send with their products so you don't have to be reaching around the back of the screen to navigate your menus. The BenQ EW3280U is currently priced at $799. Now, as I stated earlier, this monitor does a lot of things well, but doesn't stand out for any one purpose. It has an excellent looking 32-inch 4K display, manages HDR content fairly well, and sounds better than most standalone monitors, but may come up a bit short for dedicated gamers with its 60 Hz refresh rate. For someone like me who rarely plays games, consumes a lot of content on YouTube, and uses it for video and photo editing, it has been a great overall performer. Outside of those looking for an ultra-wide display format or those looking for a more responsive display for gaming, I think BenQ has come up with a great overall performer in its price range. Now, I'll be leaving some links down in the description below for the BenQ 3280 if you are interested in purchasing. Thank you to BenQ for sending this monitor out for review. If you guys found this video helpful, please like and consider subscribing to my channel. I do a lot of home theater and DIY content, and I have some pretty cool stuff coming to the theater room here soon. Hope you guys found this video helpful. Thanks for watching Life of Bliss, and I will see you soon.